Hello everyone, I'm Alex, and in this video, I would like to discuss the upcoming release of our product. I will cover what it includes and how it can aid in the development of mobile and web applications. Let's start by creating a new application. As you can see, we have removed distracting tabs and significantly expanded the range of pre-designed templates. We will dedicate a separate video to showcase them, but for now, let's focus on creating an application. When we open our initial screen, let's select the content element. In the Style tab, you'll notice a new property that has been added, vertical alignment. This property allows you to choose between center alignment or bottom alignment on the screen. Let's select center alignment and add a button. As you can see, it is perfectly centered vertically, which is very convenient for creating a download page. Now, let's revert the content to its default state. Another addition is the ability to specify CSS styles directly in the Styles column. For example, we can give the HTML component a background color by simply specifying the desired property and its value, such as gray. This way, we can define any CSS style we want. When adding a new style, helpful hints are provided for selection. We have also made significant improvements to our standard components like input fields, checkboxes, buttons, and more. Previously, these components were complex and consisted of multiple parts. Let's take the input field as an example, which included a label, input field, and wrapper. This complexity made it challenging to customize the appearance of each individual component. However, with our update, we can now select and style specific components separately. For instance, we can customize the label component by setting properties such as font size. This enhancement offers greater flexibility. Let's consider the example of a checkbox. Often, there is a need to increase the size of the checkbox itself. With our update, this can be easily achieved by specifying the desired checkbox size. The same flexibility applies to other components, such as adding an icon to a button or input field, where we can customize it in a similar manner. You may have also noticed that we have redesigned the display order of styles on the Styles tab and added more convenient properties. Let's consider the checkbox as an example. In the past, long checkbox titles were often cut off by default, which was not always desirable. Now, we have introduced the ability to customize this behavior by setting the truncate text property to false. Let's explore further innovations by creating a new page. Apiary is frequently used not only for mobile applications but also for web applications that heavily utilize modal screens. To simulate this scenario, we can set the modal screen property to true and display screen 2 upon clicking a button. By adding a click event and selecting the action open modal page with screen 2 as the target, we can test if everything works correctly. When previewing the mobile application, everything functions as expected. However, when we click the Remove Frame button, we can view how the pop-up will appear on a computer screen or tablet. Overall, it looks good, but adjusting its size is often necessary. Fortunately, this is now made simple by introducing additional settings for modal screens. These settings allow for different sizes on large and small screens. For example, we can specify a height of 100% and a width of 500 pixels for our screen. After refreshing and clicking the button, we can see that our modal screen is the correct size. Another significant improvement addresses the issue of scrolling, which was a challenge during the development process. To demonstrate this, let's add numerous components to the screen. As you can see, we now have a scroll feature. Previously, the scroll was wide and positioned at the same level as the components, which often disrupted the layout of the screens. However, with the update, the scroll has become narrower and is now located above the components. This improvement ensures a smoother and more seamless scrolling experience. In addition to these major changes, numerous small enhancements have been implemented. I would like to showcase one of them. Let's add an icon component. By default, Appri provides a substantial collection of icons. However, in some cases, this selection may not be sufficient. To address this, we have introduced a simple yet convenient solution for everyone. Here, you'll find a helpful hint. By clicking on the link, you can access a page featuring icons designed by Google. You have the freedom to choose any icon that suits your needs, download it, and upload it directly to Appri. Navigation within the platform has also undergone significant improvements. When selecting the Navigate to Page action, you can now specify the transition direction as forward or backward. Furthermore, you have the option to set the next page as the root. This feature is particularly useful when, for example, you want to navigate from the login page to the main page of the application without the ability to go back using system gestures or the system back button. Additionally, it is now possible to pass parameters as query parameters in addition to the existing method of passing them as parameters. Another feature I would like to demonstrate is validation. To do this, let's add a form component and include an input field. We can then select the input field and configure validation for it, such as indicating that the field is required and displaying an error message. Otherwise, the user should see an appropriate error message. This process has been simplified with the introduction of a new action called Mark All as Touch. If no errors are present, the desired action, such as a REST request, can be executed. For example, in our case, we can display an alert. Finally, we need to specify the button type as Submit. Let's test it now. Initially, if we do not enter anything in the input field and click the button, we receive an error message. However, once we enter our data and click the button, the alert is displayed, indicating that the validation was successful. The last feature I want to showcase is the ability to publish an Appri application on a custom domain with an automatically generated certificate. This eliminates the need to spend time and money on purchasing SSL certificates. If you have a domain name and want to publish your Appri application on it, simply enter the domain name in the designated field and click the Publish button. You will then receive instructions on the next steps. If you do not have a domain name, you can click on the provided link to purchase a domain from Google or another domain provider. In my case, I already own the domain, so I navigate to the domain registration website and click on the Manage button. From there, I access the DNS settings and add a new record and a record, specifying the name and IP. If you need the IP, you can copy it from the instructions. Once the record is added, we can retry the publish process. If an error occurs, don't worry, it may take a few minutes for the other DNS servers to recognize the new record. After a few minutes, I click the Publish button again, and as you can see, the publication process begins and will take a few minutes to complete. Now, our application is published, and it is accessible by default using the HTTPS protocol. By clicking on the provided link, we can view our published application. However, if you wish to share the application, this direct link may not be the most convenient option. Allow me to demonstrate a more user-friendly way to share the application. Clicking on the shared page link, we are presented with a beautifully designed user interface specifically created for showcasing the application. Here, you have a more appealing and professional presentation of your app. You can copy the generated link or easily share it on popular social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or even send it via email. As always, this release includes various improvements and bug fixes aimed at enhancing the development experience and ensuring a seamless workflow. I appreciate your presence throughout this video, and I encourage you to subscribe to our channel and show your support by liking the content. Thank you for watching, and goodbye, everyone.